The golden days are over, but the Focus is still in demand and widespread in the secondary market. The price range is wide. The car can be purchased for 150 and 750,000 rubles. Why is it still worth choosing this particular model? Where to look, what to check, what to bargain on, and when to run away. 5-door hatchbacks and Ford Focus sedans were produced in Russia, in Sevolosk near St. Petersburg, and station wagons and fashionable 3-doors were imported from abroad. Draw your own conclusions. But domestic painting, both in terms of the choice of color and the quality of work, differs from imported paint not for the better. Fresh paint and a thick layer of brand new varnish is more of a disadvantage of a used car than a virtue. Traces of operation, on the contrary, will tell you not only about the attitude of the seller to the car, but also about the absence of body repairs. The best status indicator is the chrome trim on the trunk lid. If it is fresh and beautiful, expect trouble. The cover of the hold has recently been repaired, and rust will creep in 6 months or a year. Repair will cost at least 7,000 rubles. By the way, the chrome part itself also costs a lot, up to 8,000 rubles. So its very deplorable state is a worthy reason for bargaining. Both the first and the second Focus are known for one engineering solution that caused nothing but pain. It's about the hood lock, which opens with a key. The famous Russian reagent turns this knot into stone in just 1 winter. If your predecessor changed the lock to a similar one from the Ford Mondeo, which is much more reliable and resistant to external influences, then a Fat Plus is karma for him. If not, stock up on penetrating lubricant. Another ailment of Focus is the central lock. This simple and long familiar knot to all motorists regularly causes complaints on this particular model. Adds to the pepper the fact that the gas tank hatch is wound up on the central lock. Annual scheduled diagnostics of the unit and maintenance at a specialized service will solve this issue. Preventive maintenance is always cheaper. So long. The interior decoration of the Sevolosk Firstborn is an example to follow. Neat and calm design, solid materials, thoughtful architecture, comfortable and spacious chairs. The second-generation Ford Focus featured high-quality seat upholstery. Dense and very resistant to various accidents, the fabric survived hundreds of dry cleaners and did not turn into a rag after the first family trip to the country. With leatherette, the situation is worse. It quickly rubbed off, lost its shape and even began to tear. This is especially noticeable on the sidewalls, where the upholstery is less likely to survive. The American softness of the seats leads to the fact that over time the seat heating completely fails, especially the drivers. Restoring such an important option for the Russian winter will not be cheap. Only 12,000 rubles are asked for the original part itself, and there is still a difficult installation procedure to be done. Experienced owners note the weakness of the heating and air conditioning system of the cabin. Already by 50,000 kilometers, the stove motor may ask for replacement, and in versions with climate control, there is also an interior temperature sensor. By checking the last 2 points yourself even when buying, you can save about 20,000 rubles. Engine. The range of powertrains in the second-generation Ford Focus is the widest. If desired, you can even find a car with a 2-liter diesel engine, which was imported from Europe. But there are very few of them, only about 2.5% of all Focuses sold. There are many offers with gasoline engines. The younger 1.4-liter 80-horsepower unit is highly valued for its reliability and virtually no pain points. If the previous owner was not a racer by nature and changed the oil and timing belt on time, then there will be no problems with the engine. The next in the line are the most popular 1.6-liter 100-horsepower engine and its 115-horsepower version, which differs only in the variable valve timing system. The people appreciate these engines for their high reliability, elasticity, efficiency, and unsurpassed maintainability. Replacing the timing belt every 60,000 runs, about 8,000 rubles, will save nerve cells and the family budget. Half of the cars on the secondary market are equipped with a 1.6-liter power unit. The two top Ford Focus engines, the 1.8-liter, 125 horsepower, and 2.0-liter, 145 horsepower, don't last as long, despite the timing chain drive. By the first 100,000 run, the valve-cover gasket will begin to snot, requiring tightening of the bolts, and in advanced cases, replacement. The repair will cost a chocolate bar if you clarify this delicate moment at the next MOT in time or check it yourself by asking your neighbor in the garage for a torque wrench. A complete set of gaskets for the entire engine will cost 3,000 rubles. The chain will rattle after 150,000 kilometers, And the final stage, when surgical intervention or replacement with a contract unit is necessary, will come no later than 350,000 kilometers. Elements of the ignition system require attention: a coil, 2,000 rubles, and high-voltage wires, 2,000 rubles, as well as an EGR sensor, 11,000 rubles, and a throttle valve, 21,000 rubles for a new one and 3,000 rubles for a used one. But the heavy awakening of the engine on a winter morning is most often associated not with mechanics, but with electronics. More precisely, with an unfinished ECU program by the manufacturer. Flashing the brains solves this problem, but requires an additional 5,000 rubles of investment. Transmission. On the secondary market, there are Focuses with two types of mechanical gearboxes, IB5 and MTX75. Both of them are known for a whole bunch of different sores. In addition, mechanics were at a premium among taxi drivers, and buying a car after working in a taxi company is a nightmare. Therefore, look for an automatic. There are few complaints about him. This 4-speed automatic transmission, known since the 80s of the last century, is worthy of only compliments. The reason is the simplicity of the device, in which there is nothing special to break. The only possible malfunction is a breakdown of the valve body, the repair of which will cost 30,000 rubles in a specialized service. This trouble can happen no earlier than a run of 150,000 kilometers. Suspension. There will be only words of gratitude. McPherson tandem in front and multi-link rear allowed the car to become a real hit. Reliable, forgiving and perfectly tuned chassis has become one of the reasons for the incredible popularity of the model. A little attention and a relatively small investment is all that is needed for the ideal suspension condition of the second Focus. Thrust bearings will cover about 60,000 kilometers, and the bones, the stabilizer struts, will rattle after 50,000 kilometers. By 100 bushings, ball joints and levers will require attention. Silent blocks will live up to 120,000 kilometers, but the wheel bearing will howl earlier. Remember, its replacement is possible only instead of with the entire hub. Bulkhead front suspension at a decent service station will cost 15,000 to 20,000 rubles. A more complex multi-link rear suspension will ask for about 30,000 rubles. Only a set of levers will cost 11,000 rubles. Remember also that for station wagons and sedans/hatchbacks, the levers are different. A set of Salet blocks costs 1,740 rubles, and bones will cost another 1,500 rubles. The work will be expensive, so it's better to change everything at once, because to replace each element you will need to disassemble the suspension almost completely.